This is QTV News broadcasting from the Gambia, and I am Mariatu Sidibe. Our top stories. President Barrow visits OIC Conference Center. Government recognizes rights of Manjagos. Activists protest deportation of Gambians. Those are our top stories, and now the news in detail. President Barrow, accompanied by the Chinese ambassador, on Thursday visited the International Conference Center in Bijilo to assess the progress of work. The center will host the OIC summit in November this year. Aliou Cisse reports.
This International Conference Center is one of the key projects being funded by the Chinese government. This center is going to host the OIC summit later this year.
The news release, this is the press.
The foundation stone for the construction of this international conference was laid by President Barrow in September 2017. It is funded at a tune of $50 million by China. The visit by President Barrow was meant to assess the level of work at the site. He was taken on a tour of the under-construction conference center by staff. Barrow was joined on the visit by Works Minister Bailamin Job, Chinese Ambassador Ma Jian-chun, and Senegal's High Commissioner Salif Ndiaye. Barrow expressed delight with the progress of the work, adding he is hopeful of a successful hosting of the OIC summit in November this year.
It is 1 year, 6 months since I laid the foundation of this project, but I have been monitoring the project from a distance. I have been well represented by Minister of Works and his team. And definitely I think this is a very important project. It's a landmark project for Gambia. This will go in a long way in improving our infrastructure in this country. With the support of the ambassador and the Chinese government, this is a dream come true.
The project is funded by the Chinese government. Its ambassador to the Gambia pledges his country's support and cooperation to the Gambia.
This project, just like President Barrow mentioned, is a landmark project. We believe this project, when this project is completed, it will play a big role in the Gambia's social and economic development.
Many have doubted whether the required work will be completed before the summit. But for Works Minister Bailamin Job, he is confident of the timely completion of the work.
I have complete confidence that it will be completed in time.
But what happens in case it is not completed in time?
No, there is no what happened. It will. There is no room for failure in completing the works. It's on schedule, and as you can see, it's only the finishing works that is remaining. All the major structural components are in place. Yeah.
We understand the road expansion project is also part of a component as far as this OIC summit is concerned. What is still holding the commencement of the work?
Well, you know, there is a secretariat that is responsible, OIC secretariat, responsible for the OIC projects. And I know that they are working very hard to make sure that all the other structures that accompanies this building is done, as quickly as possible.
When completed and operational, the conference center will provide seating capacity of up to 1,000 conference participants, 4 conference halls with hundreds of seating capacity, 1 VIP room, 4 press rooms, 14 meeting rooms, offices, banquet halls, and entertainment space with a wonderful view of the sea on the sideways. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
In the wake of communal tensions among members of the Manjago ethnic group within the combos and segments of their neighbors, the government of the Gambia has strongly assured Manjagos that they are co-equals and very significant players in Gambian society and should therefore never consider themselves as minorities or marginalized people. Ibrahima Balde has more on the release.
In a highly emotional yet very frank, amicable and productive meeting lasting almost 2 hours, the Minister of Lands, Regional Administration and Religious Affairs, Honorable Musa S. Drame, who chaired the session on Monday, praised the Manjago community for their respect for law and order, discipline, hard work and peacefulness. Minister Drame told the crowded hall at the Quadrangle reflecting a cross-section of Manjago Alkalolu and representatives within the West Coast region. That government has been closely monitoring the unfortunate event among neighbors they have lived with peacefully for decades, and that his ministry is determined to solve all these disputes amicably. You are bona fide Gambians and have rights like all citizens, and you should never allow anybody to diminish your importance, nor use you or make you break the law of the Gambia, he told them. Addressing the emotional graveyard issue at Tanane Village, Combo South, and all its sensitivities, Honorable Drame assured the gathering that his ministry has since struck a deal with one Mr. Sidou Barrow by compensating him with a piece of land at the Brusubi layout. This, according to Mr. Drame, was meant to preserve sanctity and respect befitting the dead and to consolidate on the gains made among neighbors lasting decades. I expect no further problems with Mr. Barrow, and that should bring closer to that problem, he remarked. Regarding the ongoing problem in Daya Village in the same district and other Manjago settlement, Minister Drame assured the gathering that he has been in close consultations with the chiefs, the governor of West Coast, and the Ministry of Justice, as well as the Office of the Chief Justice, to ensure that this issue is resolved peacefully using our traditional mechanism and the law where necessary. In his remark, the Minister of Fisheries and Water Resources, Honorable James Furmus Gomez, a respected elderly Manjago statesman among Gambian Catholics and Christians, echoed similar sentiments and reaffirmed government's position in treating all citizens as equals. Mr. Gomez assured his tribesmen of government's unflinching resolve to promote peace at all times and its recognition of the Manjago's respect for the rule of law, hard work and dedication to duty in their respective spheres of life. Ibrahim Balde, QTV News.
Activists, deportees and members of the public today protested at the Westfield Youth Monument. Their mission is to ask the government why Gambian youth are deported from Europe, especially Germany. This follows the deportation of more than 24 youth from Germany within the last month. Momodu Gajaga witnessed the protest and he files in this report.
Angry, agitated and furious, they want the deportation to stop and are not satisfied with the answers the Barrow administration gave so far. Through the numerous press releases sent out to the media, the government has always denied having signed any agreement with the German authorities to deport Gambian migrants. According to confirmed reports, about 2,500 Gambian migrants are awaiting deportation from Germany. Dudu is a victim. He explains his story while demanding answers from the government.
Yeah, of course, I was in Germany, so a lot of people were deported without knowing the reason. A lot of people are just been captured through their houses in the early mornings of Monday, and direct to the airport in Frankfurt. Then we have flew from Frankfurt to here, direct flight with 6 hours. Landed in Banjul Airport, then they hand over us to the Gambian immigrations without knowing what exactly was the reason. And we don't see any stakeholders on the ground who can at least welcome us and at least come us, tell us why we are here. So it's definitely very painful. So we want to know, definitely, we are calling the government to tell us exactly what's the reason. Why are we here? Please, we want to know something, because still our brothers are there, still our sisters are there, a lot of people are back there. And we want to say no to this deportation. We are already at home. Enough is enough. We will take it in good faith. We are already here, we will take it in good faith. But we want to urge the government to tell them that enough is enough.
Many of the deportees face hardship in their journey, locally known as backway. They pass through deserts, parked in pickup trucks, some of them claimed, before finally crossing the Mediterranean Sea, which has almost become a graveyard for African migrants who embark on the risky journey. Bafode Camara explains his ordeal.
The suffer you make is too painful. From Akades, you have Durugu. From Durugu, you have Gadrong, Yefuta Sulalia, Libya. All those places, from Akades to Durugu, the only thing you eat is only gari. Gari, other than gari, the only thing you have to put there is Garatango, Podila. Podila, Kolomuta Yatu, Ole Jimboni, La Kano, Te Kole Kakono, Yadomo. ye doni nyimbusa ye futa Libya ye tata dogo nyino le dogo ke sulay kabi songonda fotilo e boy ate ni tilo boy de kay ko mudir sukul kamal akoy haya yatla barra sulaye muta ye bay banta ni kay ko la mundi findi na korra kono ni kay mudir suno akoy ko tawizi ay tala bungo na yala AK ci kanang AK47 warang pistulo akoy tawizi wala nyindi ko na yetara yabe bu nakidola ye escape yeta.
At some point, we used pounded cassava with pounded grasshopper just to make the food spicy. Then after reaching Libya, working for more than 8 hours a day, only to realize you wouldn't be paid. They even threaten you by pointing a gun at you. Fatu Bojang, a protester from Kiti village, said she is disappointed with the government. She claimed there are virtually no employment opportunities for the youth in the country.
Please, Mansakunda, ye nyum ta ya ke la dunoto ko Gambia no le carte fayo ta ya ke dunoto ngame ye nyum ko ye lo akula ya stop left la stop do kuti jang fo bata hani mano mi mano di koy batala la ni matala so Gambia. I
am urging the authorities to take responsibility and stop this deportation of the youth. There are no job opportunities. People continue to suffer. They even promised to reduce the cost of the bag of rice, but to no avail. The Gambia is one of the poorest countries in the world. High unemployment has made migration a lucrative option for young people. Most of the migrants have been taking care of their families through remittances. They now face a hopeless life in a country they call home. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Child Fund the Gambia, in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and the United Nations Development Programme, on Thursday began a 2-day regional sensitization and National Development Plan participatory evaluation for West Coast region. The 2-day workshop is currently underway in Birkama. QTV's Ansumane Isonyasi reports.
Aimed at raising awareness on the country's development blueprint, the National Development Plan, the 2 days convergence has been lauded by officials of Child Fund, UNDP and the Ministry of Finance as highly significant. It is expected to encourage citizens to take ownership of the Sustainable Development Goals as well as take stock of the progress, challenges and lessons learned during the NDP implementation. Delivering her statement, Child Fund Country Director Musukuta Akoma underscored the importance of such a forum while imploring participants to take ownership of the NDP and SDGs.
Discussions or conversations pertaining to the Sustainable Development Goals and to our country's foremost development blueprint, that is the National Development Plan, often called the NDP, should and must be seen as everyone's business as they evolve around the lives of every single member of our country and the world at large. Ladies and gentlemen, this regional sensitization and the NDP participatory evaluation is very much in line with the mission of Child Fund, where, in quote, Child Fund strives to help the deprived, excluded, and the vulnerable children, their families, and the communities they live in to have the capacity to improve their lives and the opportunity to become young adults and the leaders who will bring lasting and positive change in their communities. In essence, we want these children to occupy the seat we are occupying in the very near future.
Speaking on behalf of the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Asaru Kamara said the Gambia was among 193 UN member countries that adopted a historic resolution committing themselves to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in 2015.
The agenda is driven by the principle of leaving no one behind. Hence, the Sustainable Development Goals are ambitious, universal, and transformational. And it's aimed at balancing economic growth, social development, and environmental protection. Ladies and gentlemen, the current National Development Plan is the first of a series of development plans during the SDG period.
Representing UNDP and the Projects Coordination Unit of the Ministry of Finance, Nuanyasi said the Regional Sensitization Project on the NDP and SDGs is a 5-year project funded by the UNDP and implemented by key partners like the GRA, Gambia Bureau of Statistics, local government areas, amongst others.
This is an activity that we are doing, or we are rolling out across the country. As we're speaking now, there's a team currently starting in Basse under the purview of, through in partnership with WASDA. And then there will be another team that is also starting in LRR today and tomorrow through the partnership with Freedom from Hunger campaign. And there was also a team that was in North Bank in Kerewan with AdWork, and then there was a team with Action Aid in CRR South, and then on Saturday and Sunday we'll also be in Kauru with Avisu. So this is to tell you that how inclusive this project is all about. And then over the past, we've interacted with virtually all the councils, and then we have plans to ensure that we strengthen the councils as well. So be rest assured that this is the beginning towards going to the right directions from now against 2021.
Meanwhile, according to officials, the current National Development Plan provides an anchor for the journey towards the attainment of the SDGs. As a result, 8 strategic priorities and 7 critical enablers within the NDP have strong areas of alignment with the SDGs. Other speakers include the Deputy Governor of West Coast Region, Musa Suso, and the CEO of Brikama Area Council, Mamset Jallo. Antoine Sonyasi, 4KTV News.
Standard Chartered Bank, under its Diversity and Inclusion platform on Thursday, celebrated International Women's Day in the form of a breakfast meeting with women from all walks of life under the theme Balance for Better at a local hotel in Bijilo. Omar P. Jallo reports.
The concept was to enlighten the women and give them access to successful professionals who can talk about their leadership and professional development journey to them. Commenting on the discussion, Olukorede Adenao, Chief Executive Officer Standard Chartered Gambia, said at Standard Chartered they strive to be a market leader in the diversity and inclusion space by helping women realize their full potential through personal development initiatives and support workplace practices.
Standard Chartered Bank actually values women. We actually push for gender equality. We push for gender balance. And as a bank, we ensure that there's parity between both genders. Of course, as well as the disabled and other areas, to make sure that we actually represent the views of different genders. So essentially the breakfast is to bring in women to come and share their stories, share their views, so other women can also learn, from it and encourage other women to go on and be what they are meant to be, to achieve their purpose and achieve their objectives and targets they set for themselves.
The CEO of Fine Consultant Services, Lucy Fay, said, this year's theme is Balance for Better, and their vision is to create an environment for women.
It is true, the men in our lives are our best cheerleaders. I remember my dad told me, you should get married because you want to get married. You don't get married because you have to, because he's going to support you, he's going to provide for you. You get married because you want to, so it is a partnership. You have to be financially independent, and whatever happens down the line, you still can stand on your 2 feet on your own.
American founder and CEO of The Woman Boss said her gender agenda aims to ensure women are given the same opportunities to excel.
Today, celebrating International Women's Day, I think for us, for me personally, is to acknowledge the fact that there's just so much that needs to be done. So much needs to be done, and we all need to contribute. I said to myself, how am I going to contribute to the society that I live in? Many women like myself, we underestimate our powers, we underestimate our skills. We're capable of so many things, but we just decide, no, maybe not, maybe that's just too much for me, maybe that's above me. Nothing is above us. We all have to go out and get what we want.
Fatum Baji, the CEO of ACE Communication Executive, said her company encourages initiatives such as flexible working and improved parental level benefits to better support their female colleagues. Mariama Banjai, the executive director, Maba Engineering and Management Limited, said her company is committed to ensuring they have an industry where women feel included and where they can contribute their best. The head of corporate affairs and brand and marketing, Mustafa John, said, as the bank aspires to be a leader in gender diversity, supporting women in the workplace, as customers and in the community, Standard Chartered remains committed to be here for good. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
In sports, the Gambia Teachers Union Cooperative Credit Union on Thursday handed $265,000 to the Secondary School Sports Association in preparation for the 2019 Inter-School Championship. At the ceremony held at the Teachers Union headquarters, the money, according to the beneficiaries, would be used to crown the winners of this year's championship in both upper basic and senior secondary school categories. Babu Karsi has the rest of that story.
The money, according to the president of the Secondary School Sports Association, Ismaila Sise, would be used to award the winners for both upper basic and senior secondary school winners. The winner this year would pocket $100,000, runner-up $50,000 and $25,000 for the third place. The general manager of the Gambia Teachers Union Cooperative Credit Union, Mr. Babukar Job, commended the School Sports Association for decentralizing the sports and assured them of his institution's continuous support.
265,000 may sound big, but for an institution that is over 400 million in assets now, over 400 million in savings, and a total value, our net value is over $1 billion. 265,000 does not break our backs. So we are not saying this to boast, but we can say 2019 is under the bridge. We have taken care of that. Now the teachers would have to decide if they want this to be an annual issue. If that decision is made, we know our channels, we know how we make our decisions. If that decision is made, we can have this enshrined in our annual activities.
For his part, the president of the Secondary School Sports Association, Ismaila Sise, thanked the GTU-CCU for coming to their aid and assured them of the association's readiness to take school sports competition to another level.
See, in the past, the GTU-CCU has been always there for us. Our accounts with GTU-CCU always go zero by the end of the championship because we didn't have any support from anywhere. We always make sure we depend entirely on the tickets that are being sold at the gate, and the little that is being realized is what we normally use to at least motivate our athletes and schools. And we spend a lot of money when it comes to the regional hits and the finals. All the athletes that comes from the region are all being housed by the association, fed by the association, and then a lot of things that have been provided by the association. Even during the finals, guests that are invited are all being taken care of by the association. So you can see the burden on the association. And for GTU-CCU to come back, maybe they have seen us been crying for so long. And then also again, they realize that, yes, this is an association that has been doing very well. Whatever we give them, we don't pressurize them because we have never been pressurized to pay the loan. In fact, as I'm speaking to you, we still have an outstanding loan balance with GTU-CCU that we're supposed to pay. And the loans are always interest-free. So in coming back to give us a support without even asking is something that we cherish a lot.
The 2019 championship is set for the 15th, 16th and 17th of March 2019 at the Independence Stadium, with the organizing committee coming up for the first time with $10,000 cash prize for the Best Schools Fans Club. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
Before we end this bulletin of the news, a recap of our main stories. President Barrow, accompanied by the Chinese ambassador, on Thursday visited the International Conference Center in Bigelow to assess the progress of work. The center will host the OIC summit in November this year. In the wake of communal tensions among members of the Manjago ethnic group within the Combos and segments of their neighbors, the government of the Gambia has strongly assured Manjagos that they are co-equals and very significant players in Gambian society and should therefore never consider themselves as minorities or marginalized people. Activists, deportees, and members of the public today protested at the Westfield Youth Monument. Their mission is to ask the government why Gambian youth are deported from Europe, especially Germany. This follows the deportation of more than 24 youth from Germany within the last month. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thank you for watching.